So I hope you're all enjoying your lunch. I would just like to start off explaining briefly the award that my foundation is presenting today. Our aim is to recognize activists who work at the intersection of the struggle to protect the environment as well as defend human rights. In my opinion, one of the problems that's been plaguing the environmental movement in comparison with other movements throughout history, whether it be civil rights or suffrage, is that it seems to lack identifiable heroes who are visible to the public and become iconic. There are people that one might dub first world actors, whether policy advocates or celebrities whose work has obviously benefited the movement, but who are not themselves on the front lines risking life and limb to protect the environment and their communities. I believe it is important to show the world that there are local actors working heroically in this area and to safeguard the rights of indigenous people who live in these environmentally sensitive areas. This is exactly why we have chosen on this afternoon to honor the fallen leaders of the Alto Tamayo Soweto in the Alto Tamayo Soweto region in Peru. On September 1st of this year, Edwin Chota, Jorge Rios, Leoncio Melendez, and Francisco Pineda started to walk to Brazil to coordinate, to meet up with their Ashanika cousins on the other side of the border, to coordinate preventing further illegal logging attempts in their region. They were then ambushed and assassinated by illegal loggers. Their bodies were left in the jungle, only to be discovered days later, upon which their widows and children were forced to flee downriver, taking 4 days to reach safety and report these gruesome murders. Unfortunately now, the remaining members of the community of Soweto are still living in a constant state of fear thanks to continual death threats, both by illegal loggers and also drug traffickers in the region. But before we do this and honor them, I would like to first introduce Patrick Alley of Global Witness, also a member of the nominating committee for the award, who will give us some context about what is happening in Peru, and as well as the plight of defenders of the environment around the world. Then we'll hear from Diana Rios, who has actually traveled from Peru for the first time, has actually left Peru for the first time to be with us, the daughter of one of the slain activists, Jorge Rios. So Patrick, please.
Very good. I just wanted to echo something before I go on to what I prepared regarding what Alex said. We're here to honor some real heroes. I think those two films were a very hard act to follow in telling the story. What we're seeing is this kind of scenario playing out in country after country after country, region after region after region. And that's what I want to talk about now. So, as we know, in early September this year, 4 members of the Ashayanka community in the Peruvian Amazon were murdered by illegal loggers for defending their land. It's another tragic chapter in a growing global trend. Earlier this year, we published this report, Deadly Environment. It documents, as far as available data allows, the murders of environmental defenders, ordinary people defending their homes, their farms, their lands from predatory natural resource deals like oil and mining, logging, and agribusiness. The figures are really shocking. Between 2002 and 2013, and these are conservative figures, 908 environmental defenders were killed, with the rate increasing over the last 4 years to 2 people per week. There were 10 prosecutions during this period. In that week, that tragic week in September that we heard about on the film, that killing rate doubled, at least in that week, to 4. And we decided this issue needed a special focus because what's happening in Peru is a microcosm of what's happening, as I said at the beginning, all over the developing world particularly. But there's one major difference. And that major difference is that Peru in December is hosting 195 countries at the United Nations climate change talks. These killings underline the stark differences between what governments say they're doing and what they're actually doing. And the clear message has to be, and it's a very, very simple one, and I confess I plagiarized it of a good friend, David Kaimovitz of the Ford Foundation. If you want to save the environment, protect environmental defenders. So today, both here and at Lima in about 45 minutes, we're launching this report, that report, Peru's Deadly Environment. In few countries is the critical role of leaders like these activists in the fight to prevent environmental destruction more apparent than in Peru. The country's rainforest is the 4th largest in the world. It's about the size of Germany and Norway combined, and its deforestation in Peru is responsible for about half of their carbon emissions. Peru's committed to protecting 54 million hectares of its 73 million hectares of forests and to achieving zero deforestation by 2021. It signed a $300 million deal with Norway to help it title and protect land and to help protect its forests to mitigate climate change. And it's hosting the climate change conference itself. So it all sounds really good, doesn't it? Good. The reality is that these 4 murdered activists and the community they represented have been campaigning for 12 years to get title from their land. And they have failed to get it. They petitioned the government for protection as they received threat after threat after threat, and they didn't get it. Instead, like so many people, they were left alone on the front line of environmental defense, and they were killed. In addition to that, the Peruvian government has passed 2 laws, one prioritizing agricultural and extractive investments over indigenous land claims, and one that extends a high degree of immunity to the police if they cause injuries or death in the course of their duty. They recently awarded 5 million hectares of new logging concessions, despite the fact that 70 to 90% of logging in Peru is illegal. And in 2012, the deforestation rate in Peru doubled over the year before. The Minister of the Environment in Peru is seen to be one of the only champions in government in terms of protecting the environment there. But he has limited power, and rumours are that when the hullabaloo of the climate change talks is over, his career is uncertain, which would be really, really unfortunate. And one message to the Peruvian government is don't do that. In our report, Peru is ranked as the 4th most dangerous place on the planet to be an environmental defender, with 57 deaths between 2002 to 13. More than half died in the last 4 years. 80% of those deaths were related to the extractive sector, and a shocking 57% were at the hands of the police. Since the killings, Peru has arrested only 2 of the illegal loggers they've accused of being connected with the murders, and not any of those who gave the orders. The government has said that they will begin to title the Asheninka land. This is welcome. But it's too late for Edwin Chota, Leoncio Consima, Jorge Rios, and Francesco Pinedo. And it's a drop in the ocean of the 20 million hectares of outstanding indigenous land claims that there are in Peru. As I said, this report is being launched in Spanish today at Lima, and we'll go to the climate change conference and push this issue as much as we can. Peru must end the impunity enjoyed by the killers of environmental defenders and by illegal loggers and corrupt officials. And they must tackle the corruption that is behind a lot of what we're seeing here. As Alex mentioned, and to underline this, we heard yesterday that the threats against the Ashaninka community are continuing. This is a live issue. It's happening now. Diana's community are living in fear now, and there is no one there to protect them. And the community is desperate that the investigation into this is moved to Lima, because the officials in their own province are totally corrupted, and it's not going to work there. So the international community at the climate change talks must pledge to defend environmental defenders. It's not only essential in defending them, their families, and their lands, but they are the best bastion we have between us and the disaster that is climate change. Thank you.
Thank you, Patrick. I would also actually like to take this opportunity to recognize another person who's come from Peru, Roberto Cabarez Vasquez of the Federation of Native Communities of Ucayali, and a leader of the indigenous people in Peru who are struggling there to secure their rights. Robert, thank you for being here, and if you want to stand up so we can just give you a round of applause for all of the work that you've done. And another thanks to David Salisbury, a professor of geography who has studied the region and has advised the community and has actually worked as an interlocutor and been really the force to get Diana and Robert here, and has really just been invaluable in all that he's done. So thank you so much. And now, last but in no way least, I would like Diana to please come up and say a few words. As I said, this is her first time leaving Peru, and obviously New York must be a huge shock for her, but she's weathered the storm greatly, and I'm just so delighted that she could make it here to accept the award on behalf of her community.
Buenas tardes con todo. Soy Diana, hija de Jorge Ríos.
Good afternoon. I'm Diana, the daughter of Jorge Rios.
Vengo representando de mi comunidad, Soweto.
I'm here to represent my community, Soweto.
Estoy muy agradecida por la Fundación Soros.
I'm grateful to the Soros Foundation.
Su nombre es Alex. Y estoy muy agradecida por darle ese premio de los 4 líderes que fueron fallecidos dando su vida.
His name is Alex, and I am very grateful for him and for this award that he has given us for the 4 leaders who were murdered.
Su vida ha dado por nuestro territorio, que es nuestro título,
Their life was given for our territory, which is our right,
a cambio de nuestro título que nos dé,
in exchange for the title that has not been given to us.
y ese premio que nos está dando es para los que se han muerto los 4 fallecidos.
And this award that's being given is on behalf of those who have been murdered.
No solamente es Conyama ha sido el territorio para nosotros los bosques, ¿sí? Es a nivel nacional.
It's not only this forest that we died for us, but that they died for us, but also for the nation.
Yo creo que el presidente tiene que tomar la más importancia, que es los bosques, porque sin bosque, ¿de qué vale que le dé preferencia a los taladores ilegales?
Our president has to pay attention to our forests, because without our forests, what is he saying? That he's giving preference to the illegal loggers.
Y quiero que todos que me están escuchando, que yo pensaba cuando se había muerto mi papá, yo decía que estaba sola, pero no. Me he dado cuenta que todos nos están apoyando y voy a seguir continuando con sus apoyos de usted. Voy a lograr lo que quiero, el título para defender mi territorio, mi bosque, que ya no se acabe así como lo está haciendo los otros taladores ilegales.
When my father died, I felt so alone. We felt so alone. But now I know that we are surrounded by people who support us. And with your support, I'm going to continue to fight. I'm going to continue to fight for title to our land against these illegal loggers.
Y muchas gracias por recibirme en sus países.
Thank you so much for receiving me here in your country.
Es la primera vez que vengo y estoy admirada por todas las personas que me están escuchando.
It's the first time that I come here, and I'm amazed at all the people here who are listening to me.
Y quiero contarle mi sueño que había soñado con mi papá.
I want to tell you about a dream I had last night about my father.
Y eso me da mi valor más que... La había soñado alegre.
This is what gives me the value in my life. I dreamed that ¿quién estaba alegre?
Era,
He was happy. I dreamt that he was happy.
es mi papá Jorge Ríos Pérez.
My father, Jorge Ríos Pérez.
Yo estoy muy complacida de lo que yo he soñado y me da más valor para reclamar mi derecho, lo que es mi título de propiedad.
I'm so pleased with what I dreamt about him, and it gives me so much strength to be able to continue to fight for title to our lands.
Y agradezco a todas las personas, como decirle,
As I say, I thank all of you here.
es muy para mí, como primera vez vengo participando.
It's the
Y
first time that I participate in something like this.
creo que lo estoy haciendo muy bien porque yo soy lo que sufro, estoy afectada, pero así tengo el valor para hablar.
I think I'm doing a good job here, even though it's very, very hard for me. But I have my values, I have my strength, I know who I am.
Y aquí hago presente a todos, le invito al joven de la Fundación Soros que se vaya a mi comunidad. Con mucho gusto le recibo en mi comunidad, es muy complacido lo que él me está haciendo y también quiero que se vaya en mi comunidad.
So I want to here today invite the young Soros to come visit us in our community. It would give me great pleasure to have him there with us.
Y tengo un premio, aunque no sea de grandeza, es de mi corazón, que nosotros lo hacemos, es la artesanía, es un collar que está en mi mochila.
And I have a gift for him. It's in my bag. It's one of the crafts that we make in my village. And it's a necklace.
Le hago presente a todos que me están mirando, le voy a hacer un regalo de mi etnia ashénica.
And here, as in front of all of you, I want to give a gift from us, the Ashaninka.
Lo te doy con mucho cariño,
I give you this
Alex de la Fundación Soros.
to you, Alex.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Gracias. Eso sería todo. Mi condolencia.